Before you continue listening, I want you to take a moment to think about someone you simply cannot forget. Not someone you see every single day, and not someone who constantly reaches out or contacts you. Instead, think about someone whose presence still quietly lingers in your mind the moment that everything around you finally becomes quiet. Have you ever genuinely wondered why certain people continue appearing in your thoughts for no apparent reason at all?
Have you ever questioned why a vivid memory suddenly returns to you right in the middle of the quiet night? Why does a wonderfully familiar feeling wash over you every single time you happen to hear a particular song, visit a certain place, or experience a rare moment of deep silence? What if those lingering thoughts are not just random occurrences? What if there is a much deeper and more profound connection actively at work right beneath the surface of ordinary daily life? At this very moment, while you are listening closely to these exact words, there may well be someone out there who is thinking about you far more than you currently realize.
Someone who has genuinely tried their hardest to move forward with their life, yet keeps finding themselves persistently drawn right back to the memories, the deep emotions, and the lingering, unfinished feelings that remain permanently connected to you. The absolute truth is that some rare and special connections leave an invisible imprint directly on the soul that time itself can never truly erase.
Distance can never manage to weaken it, silence can never manage to destroy it, and denial can never make it magically disappear from existence. Tonight we are going to explore the clear signs that your soulmate is missing you deeply, the profound emotional transformation that is actively taking place within them, and why a powerful conversation may actually be much closer than you might think. A deep soul connection is never something that can always be neatly explained through cold logic, practical reason, or ordinary physical circumstances. It operates quietly beneath the surface of everyday awareness, gently touching the hidden parts of the human psyche that typically remain entirely shielded from daily perception. There are certain extraordinary people who enter our lives and leave an impression that is far greater than the actual amount of time we have ever spent with them. Their quiet presence lingers persistently in our thoughts long after they are gone from our immediate surroundings, and their noticeable absence can be deeply felt even when there is no obvious or logical reason for it to be. This unique kind of connection creates an invisible and unbreakable bond that seems to exist comfortably beyond physical distance, beyond long stretches of silence, and sometimes even beyond time itself. When such a meaningful connection suddenly becomes active, both individuals involved will frequently begin to experience unusual and unexpected emotional and psychological shifts. Thoughts of the other person begin appearing unexpectedly throughout the busy course of the day. Memories that once seemed completely forgotten suddenly return to the forefront of the mind with remarkable clarity and detail. Small details, past conversations, and fleeting moments that once appeared entirely insignificant begin to carry much deeper personal meaning. It feels almost as though the unconscious mind is actively attempting to bring your focused attention towards something vital that has been overlooked. The individual may find themselves wondering persistently why a particular person continues to occupy their thoughts, despite every single genuine effort to focus their energy elsewhere. This persistent inner awareness is almost always one of the very first clear signs that the connection remains fully alive just beneath the surface. The human mind possesses a truly remarkable and complex ability to recognize what holds genuine and lasting significance. While the busy, conscious mind is heavily occupied with everyday responsibilities, daily routines, and practical concerns, the deeper layers of the self are constantly evaluating past experiences and meaningful relationships. A genuine soul connection frequently emerges directly from these deeper levels of the mind, where raw emotional truth carries far more weight than external appearances or social expectations. This is the primary reason why someone may feel intensely drawn toward another person, even when outward circumstances suggest they should simply move on and forget them.
The attraction is not necessarily based on physical presence or constant daily communication. Instead, it is deeply rooted in the profound and lasting impact that person has successfully made upon their inner world.
As this powerful connection grows stronger and more defined over time, emotions that were once carefully hidden may begin to rise steadily into conscious awareness. Feelings that have been previously ignored, deliberately denied, or heavily suppressed can no longer remain buried in the dark. The individual slowly starts to recognize how much the other person genuinely means to them in the grand scheme of their life. They may find themselves replaying past interactions repeatedly in their mind, desperately searching for deeper understanding or emotional clarity. They may vividly imagine conversations that were never actually completed, or silently wish they had expressed certain honest thoughts much more openly when they had the chance.
These intense experiences are not merely passing acts of idle nostalgia. They represent the profound attempt by the psyche to fully integrate complex emotions that have not yet been fully acknowledged or processed.
Longing frequently becomes a central and important part of this entire unfolding process. Many people mistakenly view longing as a sign of personal weakness or emotional dependency, but in absolute reality, it can serve as a remarkably powerful teacher. Longing forces a person to finally confront what they genuinely and deeply value in this life. It reveals clearly which relationships have touched them on a soul level and which connections have permanently transformed their overall perspective. Through the experience of longing, the individual begins to truly understand hidden aspects of themselves that remained entirely dormant during comfortable and certain periods of life. The painful absence of the other person successfully creates a necessary space in which deeper personal truths can finally emerge into the light. A deep soul connection also acts as a powerful and revealing mirror. Rather than simply reflecting another person's admirable qualities back at you, it reveals forgotten parts of ourselves that have been patiently waiting to be discovered. The presence of a soulmate naturally awakens dormant emotions, long-forgotten dreams, hidden fears, and entirely unrealized potential. Through this profound reflection, true personal growth finally becomes possible. The connection fearlessly challenges both individuals to evolve, to become drastically more honest with themselves, and to move much closer toward absolute personal authenticity. Even difficult periods of separation can actively contribute to this vital growth because they encourage deep introspection and profound self-discovery. What makes such a connection exceptionally powerful is that it continues to actively influence both individuals regardless of any physical distance between them. Time may pass by, communication may completely fade away, and circumstances may shift drastically. Yet the deep emotional significance remains entirely intact. The soul naturally remembers experiences that the conscious mind repeatedly attempts to dismiss or forget. It clearly remembers moments of genuine understanding, deep emotional resonance, and profound mutual recognition. This lasting remembrance creates an enduring inner sense that something highly meaningful is still quietly unfolding beneath the surface, gently shaping thoughts, steering emotions, and driving inner transformation. Emotional distance frequently creates a fascinating paradox that many people fail to properly understand or appreciate. While physical separation and awkward silence appear to weaken a connection on the surface, they actually tend to dramatically intensify the emotional awareness that exists quietly beneath it. When two people are consistently and regularly present in each other's everyday lives, they may easily begin to take certain wonderful aspects of the relationship entirely for granted. Familiarity can certainly create a sense of cozy comfort, but it can also effectively obscure the true, irreplaceable value of what is currently being experienced. The busy mind simply becomes accustomed to a person's steady presence and stops consciously recognizing how much that unique individual contributes to overall emotional well-being.
It is only when a significant distance enters the picture that the hidden importance of the connection begins to truly reveal itself.
The complete absence of someone deeply meaningful creates a distinct psychological space that cannot easily or quickly be filled by modern distractions, daily busy work, or shallow temporary substitutes. In that wide-open space, the true gravity of the connection becomes impossible to ignore. Every unexpressed feeling, every missed chance for honest communication, and every shared moment of genuine warmth starts to resonate with much greater clarity. The quiet stillness that follows a separation does not destroy the connection. Rather, it cleanses it of daily noise and superficial distractions. It strips away the armor of pride, stubbornness, and fear, leaving behind only the undeniable core truth of what two souls genuinely mean to one another. This profound realization often marks the precise moment when the internal shift becomes an active, outward force. The person who is missing you deeply begins to feel an undeniable pull, urging them to bridge the gap that is formed between you. Their thoughts are no longer just passive memories floating by. They transform into a focused, powerful intention to reconnect, repair, and renew what was lost. They start recognizing that avoiding these deep feelings requires far more exhausting energy than simply accepting them and taking a courageous step forward. The invisible thread that binds two connected souls begins to tighten, softly drawing both individuals back toward a shared space of honest understanding, deep healing, and meaningful reconciliation. As this powerful dynamic continues to unfold, you may start noticing subtle, unexplainable shifts in your own daily energy and intuitive awareness. You might suddenly wake up in the middle of the night thinking of them with intense emotional clarity, or feel an unexpected wave of sudden comfort wash over you during an ordinary moment of your day. These quiet moments are not mere coincidences. They are the natural energetic resonance of a connection being actively stirred on a deeper plane. When two people share an enduring bond, the awakening of deep emotion in one person inevitably sends soft ripples through the shared link, touching the heart and mind of the other. Ultimately, a genuine soul connection teaches us that true bonds are completely immune to the physical limitations of space and time. No amount of distance can diminish a connection that was forged at the deepest level of the human experience. As your soulmate navigates their own inner journey of realization, longing, and emotional honesty, the pathway toward a meaningful reunion is steadily being cleared. Trust the silent process that is taking place behind the scenes. Honor the quiet wisdom of your own intuition, and recognize that the deep connection you feel is a living, breathing reality that continues to shape your journey in beautiful and unexpected ways. An empty position or presence can quickly be filled by almost anyone else in a simple, practical sense. Daily routines continue forward without any real interruption. Practical responsibilities remain just as they always were, and life keeps moving along at its usual steady pace. Yet there is almost always a subtle, lingering awareness that something vital is missing from the complete picture. At first, this persistent feeling may be easily ignored or quickly dismissed as entirely temporary. An individual may easily convince themselves that they have successfully moved on from the situation, or that the connection was never truly as significant as it initially felt in the moment. However, the unconscious mind has a reliable way of preserving essential emotional truths that the conscious mind actively attempts to avoid. As long days and quiet weeks slowly pass by, forgotten memories begin to surface with noticeably greater frequency. Certain familiar places, specific songs, random conversations, or even completely ordinary daily moments suddenly trigger intense thoughts of the other person out of nowhere. These powerful reminders arise not because the individual is deliberately or obsessively searching for them, but simply because the underlying emotional bond continues to exist firmly beneath conscious awareness.
Distance frequently removes distracting elements that previously prevented deeper and more meaningful reflection. When two people interact regularly and constantly, their attention is heavily focused on current events, daily conversations, and immediate practical experiences.
Physical separation completely changes this entire dynamic. Without any ongoing direct interaction, the human mind naturally turns inward. It begins carefully examining the relationship from a much broader and wiser perspective. Past experiences are thoroughly reviewed in quiet moments. Emotional exchanges are reconsidered, and moments that once seemed totally insignificant suddenly acquire profound new meaning over time. The individual starts to recognize wonderful qualities they completely overlooked when the connection was readily available every single day. Simple acts of kindness, genuine emotional support, deep understanding, quiet patience, and shared experiences all become infinitely more valuable in retrospect than they ever appeared at the exact time they occurred. This gradual process frequently leads to a much heightened appreciation of the other person's vital role in one's life story. Human beings often recognize true value most clearly through sharp contrast. Just as dark shadows make bright light far more noticeable to the human eye, an aching absence makes a cherished presence infinitely more meaningful. The emotional comfort that another person provided becomes glaringly apparent when it is no longer available to rely upon during difficult times. The gentle encouragement they offered, the rare sense of being completely understood, and the deep feeling of connection all become drastically easier to recognize when they are suddenly missing from daily life. Through this striking contrast, the individual gains a much deeper understanding of how profoundly the relationship influenced their entire emotional world. Longing naturally emerges as a direct consequence of this profound realization. Contrary to popular and cynical belief, longing is not simply a desperate desire for basic companionship or simple company. It is most often a pure expression of true emotional recognition. It accurately reflects the psyche's honest acknowledgement that a particular connection holds genuine and irreplaceable significance in one's journey. The more deeply meaningful the bond truly is, the more powerful the resulting longing may become over time. This heavy longing encourages deep reflection and honest self-examination. It forces individuals to finally confront feelings they may have previously ignored, minimized, or pushed aside during busy moments. Through this intense process, true emotional clarity begins to safely develop within the soul. Separation also thoroughly exposes unresolved emotions that were hiding in the shadows for a long time. During periods of regular and comfortable interaction, certain complicated feelings may remain entirely hidden beneath routine communication and shared everyday experiences. Physical distance completely removes these surface distractions and allows deeper, truer emotions to finally rise to the surface where they can be clearly seen. Quiet regret, deep gratitude, silent admiration, genuine affection, and raw vulnerability all become increasingly difficult to continue ignoring as days go by. The individual may begin questioning major decisions they once felt completely confident about making in the past. They may wonder whether truly important feelings were accidentally left unexpressed, or whether golden opportunities for greater mutual understanding were tragically missed along the way. These deep reflections are almost always clear signs that the connection continues to hold immense psychological and emotional importance. The experience of emotional distance frequently leads to meaningful personal growth, as well as greater self-knowledge. As brave individuals finally confront their true feelings, they gain invaluable insight into their core emotional needs, deep-seated fears, and true desires. They begin to clearly understand what genuinely matters to them in relationships, paving the way for a powerful and transformative future. This increased self-awareness can completely transform their entire perspective,
helping them recognize the precious qualities they truly value most in another person. Through the trial of separation, the individual develops a clear and profound understanding of both the connection itself and their own inner self, allowing emotions that once remained hidden to move much closer toward conscious recognition and acceptance. Inner transformation is quite simply one of the most profound experiences any human being can ever undergo, largely because it occurs entirely beneath the surface of visible daily life. While external circumstances may outwardly appear completely unchanged to the outside world, something deeply significant is actively taking place within the quiet depths of the human psyche.
Thoughts begin to naturally shift, personal priorities evolve, old beliefs are thoughtfully questioned, and a refreshing new understanding of oneself gradually emerges from the shadows. This transformative process is rarely sudden or instant. More often than not, it unfolds quietly and steadily through deep reflection, challenging emotional trials, and memorable moments of personal self-discovery. In the unique context of a deep soulmate connection, this inner transformation becomes especially important because such rare relationships frequently awaken sleeping aspects of the self that have remained totally dormant for many years. Many people move through life carrying hidden fears, unresolved emotional wounds, and automatic unconscious patterns formed by difficult past experiences. These invisible patterns heavily influence daily decisions, emotional reactions, and interpersonal relationships without the individual ever fully realizing their active presence in their choices.
A genuinely meaningful soul connection possesses the extraordinary ability to bring these hidden elements directly into full awareness.
The other person acts as a powerful catalyst, sparking intense emotions and deep insights that might never have surfaced otherwise in the ordinary course of life. Feelings become significantly more intense with time. Honest self-reflection becomes much more frequent, and the individual begins to recognize parts of their own personality that they previously ignored or pushed away out of fear. This transformation often begins with a heavy sense of discomfort and uncertainty.
The human mind naturally craves stability and familiar comfort, even when old habits no longer serve any real purpose for personal growth and fulfillment. When deeper emotions finally start emerging from within, they can powerfully challenge long-held assumptions about personal identity and personal relationships. A person may suddenly realize that certain deep-seated fears have secretly been controlling their choices all along, without their permission. They may discover that persistent insecurities have effectively prevented them from expressing their most authentic feelings out in the open with total honesty.